Good day, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you for tuning in. I'm Tang StarCraft here with a Zerg vs. Terran replay analysis. My opponent today will be the famous, infamous Polka Bunny from TA Pro. And of course, I'll be representing Team All Inspiration in this game. And this is going to be kind of a follow-up to the safe and aggressive opener that I recently posted on Reddit. So it's going to be basically a speedling expand of some sort. So I think it's going to be 16 hatch, which really isn't much different than 17 hatch, into the gas and pool with a fairly fast third base, about a 3-minute third. And the real focus in the mid game is going to be that really heavily upgraded Roach-Ravager style, which is so strong right now. And the focus of this tutorial is really going to be on kind of the engagements, looking more at what you want to do with those Roach-Ravagers, where you want your army to be, how you want to engage, and how you can kind of take positional advantages over your opponent. So I'm going to speed through this opening. It's going to be an 18 gas, 17 pool. And we'll fill that gas. Overlord on 19. This Overlord actually could probably be doing something more important. There we go. And with the pool finish, you see the queens, the speed, the lings. Awesome. That's what you want to see. Into some droning. And a lot of players like, look at my minerals right now. You could actually get your hatch started before any additional queens, but this is something I talked about before. I love getting up to 4 queens early so that my initial 2 queens can inject once and right away move to the edge of the creep so that they can spread the tumor when they get to 25 energy. So yeah, I like to go right up here to 34 supply. So I'll essentially drone to about 30, get the 2 queens, and then anytime after now, I'll expand. Between now and about 305. Part of the reason that I like to build 6 lings early is so that if I lose a couple of those reapers, it's not a big deal. And also, I can guarantee, or at least almost guarantee, that the reaper can't shut down my expansion or delay it. This is actually a good map for it. He would have trouble delaying that. So nice timed third, a little bit after 3 minutes, but that's okay. And all throughout this time, though, we're just powering the drones to like 44. And I'd even like to see another Overlord now. So haven't even refilled this gas yet, and I don't mind that. And haven't started any additional gas. The real priority here is we're already at 16 in the main. We need to hit 16 at the natural. That's the goal. So not only that, not only do we want to hit 16 drones at the natural, but we want to have so many drones that we're not really going under 16 when we're taking the gases and taking the Evo chambers, the Roach Horn, the Spores, the Spine, whatever you're building. So, notice, no gases yet. We're still going to be powering drones until we have a little bit more. Did just when I had drones in the main, rallied a couple of them into the gas about now. And this will be my queue pretty soon. Probably after this next big round of drones to get the 2 gases at the natural. Or at least 1. This spine crawler is great on this map because this is really the only avenue that he can attack you from. Sometimes I skip it if I'm getting like an earlier Roach Horn, but I really like getting the spine, especially if you're not scouting very well with your Overlords and Lings, which I'm not. So to make up for that, I will always get this spine. Coincidentally, if I had seen what he's doing, which is getting pretty quick Hellions, I would want this spine anyway. It's a great delaying tactic. And with the queens and some speedlings, I feel like I can prevent him from getting to the mineral lines with those Hellions, which is the real goal. So as you can see, even though his pressure's at the front door, I'm pretty safe. I'm building all the drones that I need. And really about now should be the time that I take the gases at the natural. And maybe get the Roach Horn too. Okay, so the way we're doing it here, we're defending, and we're actually going to get this Evo chamber to be part of the wall. And I hate that decision. Only recently have I started hating that decision because of how often it gets picked off by tanks or pushes at the front. So I'm actually no longer doing this little partial wall off with the Evo chamber and Roach Horn. I'm always building them back here. And just maybe a couple extra speedlings to help defend this area as opposed to building a wall. So yeah, a couple more speedlings just to be safe until the spine and stuff is done. Yeah, there's the Roach Horn that I wish I didn't build there. I don't mind the timing of this Roach Warren. It maybe could have been a little earlier. And even the gases at the natural, notice we're sitting at 22. The gases probably could have been started by now. I'll probably notice that. Yeah, there we go. Coincidentally, this is also the time you'd often like to be seeing a Spore get put down somewhere, just in case of a Liberator or Banshee. I will take a moment now just to go look at my opponent, because in this game I hadn't done much scouting with Overlords. The information that I got was actually just from seeing his units here. But ideally, I would have like an Overlord here or something, and I would be poking into the main and seeing, third command center really early. So the opponent in this game has gone for a very kind of economic build. So quick third command center, and only now adding on the additional barracks. So still at 420. 430 on just one barracks with the additional tech. So really, I don't really have to fear this too much. I don't think he's going to want to trade these or like try to run by or anything crazy. I think he's going to be pretty content to keep whatever units he has on the field alive. And behind this, though, what this means for me is, what this should mean for me if I had scouted this, is that I don't need to worry about anything for quite a while. What I'm actually thinking in this game, because I hadn't scouted, is I could die at any time to a push, so I need to build Roaches as quickly as possible when this Warren is done, but it's actually kind of not needed in this game. So the real goal should be to saturate my third, given that he has that third command center. And that spine is really paying dividends. I really like having one spine against Terrans who open with reactored Hellions. So now, I think when the Roach Warren's done, though, you should always get a couple Roaches out, just to be safe. Just to... I mean, because he easily could have instantly made a medevac and pushed out with it and dropped these Hellions or something like that into my main. So I think it's always a good idea to get a few Roaches out, but really don't need many in this game. Just really want to be powering the drones for the third. Evo Chamber +1, ranged attack usually. And by usually I mean always. You don't really get the armor first with Roaches ever. Here's the double Spore. I would actually argue it could be a bit earlier. The placement's pretty good because he would generally come with a Liberator or whatever through this path. So placement here is reasonable, maybe here. And let's look in the main. Where's that Spore placed? Or is it the third? Ah, the third. I actually think this is good because if you look at just the trajectory or whatever that any air unit would be taking, there's no real reason to be building Spores back here first. I think the more likely path is going to be up towards the third or down here towards the natural. Still poking the front, but not too worried about it. There's the 4 Roaches, and actually this game I think I could have just stuck with 4. And again, that's what scouting does for you, is lets you make those types of little changes to your build. Ah, see, the Spore actually coming in handy already. Not quite where it needed to be. If it had been here, it would have been a bit better. But I could actually be moving it now, and it'd be great. Yeah, there we go. Sweet. It's amazing the difference it makes having a Spore already out when he's coming in with a Liberator or a Banshee or what have you. Yeah, lots of drones, so I didn't overkill it with the Roaches, just a few. Ah, I wish I didn't move the Spore. This is the game that I always play with Terrans, and I swear they always win. The placement of the Liberator and the placement of the Spores. I'm starting to think that maybe it's just easier to get 2 Spores so that you don't have to do this dancing game. Maybe just having one here and one here so you're fully protected. But then he just comes over here and he finds a way. Terran always finds a way to be annoying, I swear. That queen shouldn't have died, obviously. Should have been moved away. Of course, I move it over here, and haha! Now we're starting to get some damage done. Bring this queen. Yes. Pick it off. I actually think I will. That's fortunate. I don't have to worry about pressure from that Liberator anymore. But still, what's the goal throughout all of this? Number 1 is to saturate this third on the minerals. Number 2, keep up upgrades, Roach Speed and +2 pretty soon. And like Overseer and stuff. And then number 3, I forgot, but it will come to me soon. Powering those drones, nice. Getting up to the total of 4 gas. This is something that's a little different than when you go like Mutiling. Often when you're going those types of builds, you want to stay on 1 gas, but I think with Roaches, you can actually go up to these 4 gas earlier. Creep spread looking okay. Can't really push it through this area, but maybe could be poking up through here a bit better. Yeah, there we go. That's the round of drones that we need, and that's cutting it awfully close. If we look at the income, I really powered the drones to be getting up to fully saturated 3 base by 6 minutes is a bit greedy. So that's why right away I'm hitting this economy and I'm going into roach production with Ravagers. And earlier I was saying there were 3 points that I wanted to talk about. The third point was Overlords, building lots of them, having extra supply. So that, first of all, when I'm building drones, I'm not getting supply blocked and losing like mining efficiency. But more importantly, in fact, is later when I'm building Roaches, I don't get supply blocked when he's pushing, because that's the difference of losing a game. There is nothing worse than not having enough supply, because you have to first build the Overlords, then the Roaches, and by that time, the Terran's all set up, and it's just downhill from there. Now, is my opponent going to be aggressive in this game? I think so, just because even though they took a really fast 3rd base, you still got to do something as Terran, and like, just looking at the size of this army, it is still enough to posture out on the map, and with the medevacs should be easily able to pull back and defend and not lose it. So what I mean is Terran can push out with this army and not really have too much fear of losing it because of the medevacs. You can just pull back safely. Meanwhile, in production here really should just be all Roaches, Overlords, and Ravagers. A couple more drones there, just really wanting to maintain 66 plus workers, full 3 base saturation. And with the Roach-Ravager style, this is definitely something that you want to start doing, which is putting spores, being a bit more liberal with them. I think I've moved this one over here and probably put one here and here. It's just really nice to be able to shut down drops, or at least punish drops for coming in. If you just do 1 spore, they can maneuver around it, but when you put up like 3 or 4 at a base, they almost always lose the medevac. And then they can't just keep dropping you all day. That's the real scary thing when you go Roach-Ravager, is when they're just like here's the most annoying thing in the world. They have 2 medevacs here, full of Marines and Marauders, and 2 medevacs here, full of Marines and Marauders. So you push out with your army, and the instant you move out and they see it, they double drop you here, and it's just the worst thing in the world, because there's no real time efficient way of dealing with it while still pushing out across the map. Like, you have to pull some of your army back, and it's a nightmare. So just do it, man. Build the spores preemptively so you don't have to deal with as much of those shenanigans. There's the +2 attack. I love it. It's my favorite upgrade in the world. And really, I probably won't do too much engaging if I can avoid it until that +2 is done. Oh my god. No! Not that! Anything but that. Not the Evo chamber, please. Not my +2. That's why you don't ever build that there. It's so painful to lose that. If I were really on top of things, even before that thing had died, I would have double Evo chamber in the main and just kept those upgrades going. But here, in terms of the engagement, it's actually looking fine for me. Lots of Roaches and Ravagers, getting a fairly decent arc. Unfortunately, like, this area is actually helping the Terran a bit in keeping my units having to move around to get to his army. But even so, like, nice wide concave, I'm not too worried about this. And throwing down the biles there just to force him to move. Polka Bunny is a very good player. You'll notice his micro is really pretty top tier, so I wasn't really able to land a lot of the biles here. He's going to be able to pick up and move the tanks, but sometimes that's enough. If he's moving his army, he's not attacking with it. If he's picking up a tank, he's not attacking with it, and sometimes that's what you need to do. Even forcing some stims can be really nice. And like, he stims, he pulls away from the biles, and you pull away and disengage. And you just wait for stim to be done, and that's just HP lost, energy lost. Tons of Roaches in production. This is so sloppy getting supply blocked here. Devastatingly. Like, this is exactly what I was talking about. As Terran is pressuring you, you want to have loads of supply. Like, I think I should have 5 Overlords already been built by now. Like, I should have mineral blocked myself just from building Overlords earlier. Just want to take a minute to go back to Polka Cam. What do we got going on? Third getting pretty close to fully saturated. Supply also blocked, so we're both failing in that regard. And really going up to heavy, heavy production. Most Terrans go up to 3 barracks, and then to 5. This player's actually going up to 6, really early. And I think the reason that he is able to afford that is just he's got that third so early, and actually taken it early and saturated it early. So able to get a couple, or just even just that 1 barracks a little earlier. And this is what actually I really like about this build is the 1-1 and then right into the armory and 2-2. A little gas starved now though. I wonder if maybe the gas at the 3rd was delayed or something. Roach Speed does finish now. I'm really glad that the Roach Horn hasn't been picked off. Really surprised that no Evo chambers have been built after losing the first one. And oh no! Like even there, that spine paid for itself just delaying him from attacking the Roach Horn for a bit. But the Roach Horn does die. Right there, move up all your army, get up as close as possible so that when he picks up and moves away, like you're still getting as many hits as you can. And didn't really kill much, but did pick off a couple units there, put the supply down a bit. The big thing though, no Roach Horn, which means not only can I not reinforce this army right now, which I definitely have the larva and injects and stuff to do, and money to do, so can't build reinforcements, but perhaps equally important, can't morph these weakened Ravagers into, or weakened Roaches into Ravagers, which really sucks, because what really makes this attack strong is in the first engagement, second engagement, third engagement, you're morphing all those weakened units into full HP Ravagers. So I would love right now, as I'm pushing across the map, to be, first of all, making 30 Roaches, and also turning these Roaches into Ravagers, these weakened ones. So I would just be like this, like click V, click my army, oh, this one V, this one V, right, really quickly. Upgrading those, but I can't do it. This 4th is late, but that's fine, just because of the pressure that was put on. And we are still going to go for this push. And position-wise, you could try to just run up as natural, but it's pretty tough to be fighting on this ramp. You'll just get decimated by tanks and marines and marauders and stuff. So that's why I tend to prefer over here, and I can move through and kind of take this big wide area. And if I can get him to the point where his army's up here and mine's down here, then I have this low ground. It's mine. It belongs to the Zerg. Call it Char. Because there's no way in hell he can move his army down this ramp if I'm just throwing down constant biles on it. So even here, like, this is a little risky, moving through this little narrow choke. Like, this is the kind of scary spots for Roaches. And he actually did get quite a few tank shots, softening him up my units a bit. And even this stim, like, you can tell he was just, like, licking his chops. Like, yeah, come through, I dare you, I will eat your army. And he would have, so that's why I decided, no, not looking good for me. Just going to pull back, maybe throw a couple biles for my retreat. And then these weakened Roaches, morph them into Ravagers. And hopefully this Roach Horn will someday finish. And I'll be able to max right out. I definitely have a lot of money to do it. Ooh, nice bile. That's really cool. Like, I didn't even notice that in the game, but just be really liberal with your bile, throwing it down everywhere. Because you never really know when Terran is just going to take some hits from it. Even those ones I really liked. And the cooldown, if you look, it's what? It's not 2 seconds. What is it? 7 seconds, so really short. And if you have upwards of 10 Ravagers or 20 Ravagers, you can really just be throwing it down non-stop. So here we're not pushing through this narrow choke. It's just looking really ugly for us. And finally, we're getting some Roaches in production. Still really sloppy not to see the Evo chambers rebuilt. I would love to have +2 and +1 on the way right now. Maybe Infestation Pit 2. Here's what we love. Here's what we love. Maxing right out with the Ravagers. Not bad. Gases at the 4th, very important. Maybe a few drones and just saturating those gases. And really this base is just meant for like when the main mine's out and the natural mine's out. I'm transferring these drones over to here. So it's not like I'm ever going up to 80+ workers. Very rarely anyway. Usually I'm sticking around 60 to 66, maybe 70. So kind of like a partially saturated 4 base with all the gases. You definitely want the gases and the upgrades and the Ravagers with this build. So here we go. This is the kind of spot I want to be taking a fight. You know, nice wide open, nice wide open. Ooh, no. But, and here, like, I don't mind this. Actually, I do mind that I don't have an Overseer. But I don't mind because he's on this big ramp. I'm throwing down the biles here. I should be able to get a pretty good trade. Once the tanks are sieged, we'll probably be pulling back. Yeah, well, yeah. With no Overseer, definitely. We could consider, if we had an Overseer or two with this army, we could consider taking a wide concave here and trying to get most of the fighting done while our army's like here and stuff, so that like his army gets really low and then we push up through this area once his big force has been whittled a bit. That's something you could do. Or just pull back a little, remax. Ooh, more biles. That was actually a little bit of a mistake from Poker Bunny, backing the forces into here. I think it was an accident, actually. Probably wanted to be moving the army up and around quicker. So it did land a bile there and took the supply down a little bit. But here's really what you want to do is take advantage of the positioning. So his army and siege tanks and stuff is all over here. So I'm going to be switching over to here. And remember we talked about the sweet spot where if I can have control of this ramp, I'm just in heaven. So really I want to get this army in a nice concave here through this narrow little shitty ramp that'll kill us and right into this big wide open area. And I think I'm maybe wasting a little too much time, but yeah, getting over there. And now I'm just in heaven. Like I said, this is where I want to be. And I can just throw biles here all day while shutting down the space completely. Look at all these biles, forcing him back. He cannot move down that ramp. And I gotta give it to him. He's making the best of a very difficult situation here. I'm throwing the biles, and he's doing a good job of kind of moving the army down to here so that he's not getting hit by the biles, and also just getting in range and starting to snipe these really gas-intensive Ravagers. So as far as my positioning, I'm kind of making a mistake in that the Roaches aren't in the front to tank this stuff. And also, my biles aren't preemptively placed over to this area. Like, I'm not anticipating where his army's going to go as well as I could be. I'm starting to. Even these biles are still good, though, because you never know where the medevacs will be. There we go, starting to throw them on this area. But, yeah, I think this whole army is going to get cleaned up, and that's a lot of gas. And I'm actually at a point right now, like, I don't know the supplies, I don't know anything in-game. I'm actually at the point right now where I'm like, shit, like, am I going to lose this? This whole army's going to die. I don't have a ton of reinforcements. This isn't looking great, even though I did do a lot of damage to the economy. I hate the fact that I'm losing all my units here. So my critical Ravager count has dwindled. And this is really a product of him getting the 2-2 really early and me not having my 2-1 upgrades. So that trade was less efficient, just the time where the armies were shooting at each other. Less efficient for me. And he's even going to go up to 3 here, and this is where things are starting to get really scary for me. Gotta get those Evo chambers. Otherwise, these trades will just keep getting worse and worse and worse. Luckily, though, behind this, my real saving grace in this game is I've maintained this economy all game, whereas my opponent hasn't. I pushed them off their third. Yeah, I lost my whole army, but because of my advantage economically, I'm going to be able to rebuild it. And the trade wasn't great for me, but I did whittle down this army. Like, the tank count is not absolutely absurd. The medevac count has dwindled a bit as well. And of course, the bio force, even though well upgraded, is getting smaller and smaller. Actually, right now it's getting bigger, but I just mean it's not at the ball, the huge, massive max out size where it's really, really, really scary. So here I need to be building Ravagers. I'm actually kind of in a scary spot where I don't know how much army he has, so he could push anytime. I don't want to be stuck with just Roaches here, so come on, Ravagers, what are we doing? Oh, this is good, like killing these rocks so I can take this space, but yeah, there we go, Ravagers. Like, this army would be very scary if I didn't have them. Ravagers out. So let's take another minute and just kind of analyze the state of the game here. So early on, a lot of economic damage was done to this third base, killed a lot of workers, and that's where the harvester count is currently favoring me right now. And the reason that's really good is, God, that's a lot of production. 8 barracks, in addition to these 2 additional tech structures and these upgrades. That's a ton of production. So if he was up to the same amount of worker count as me, it would be pretty scary to be constantly trading against that much production. And behind this, 4th base has been finished. Will probably be a planetary pretty soon. And even a 5th hatchery started. So in a pretty good mid to late game economic spot is the Terran player. Meanwhile, though, we're in a good spot too. Probably a little bit better because we've constantly been mining off these 3 bases. And in addition to that, we took our 4th at a reasonable time, got the gases there, and then instantly fully saturated it with extra drones from the other bases. So as far as our economy management, it's been almost perfect. And because we haven't been dropped or pressured a lot, we've maintained that economy really all game long. So I would say we're ahead right now. As long as, well, then again, the upgrades are really hurting me, so maybe even, actually. Pretty close, I'd say right now. The supply definitely in our favor, though, and this fight is not really one that Pokebunny wants to take, I don't think. I do, though. And this is what I mean about medevacs. You can retreat pretty easily without losing too much supply. Well. Oh, this is cool. This is actually a really, really nice play. So let's look at my vision. The reason this is so nice is I don't have vision of these tanks. I see them because they're attacking me, but I can't actually cast the biles on top of them. So what I really need is like these units to be moving closer so that all these Ravagers down here can bile these tanks. Or just to have an Overseer with this army to give me the high ground vision. Look how much damage. Oh no, 5 tanks! I can't hit them. He's pulling them back there with the micro. That was really, really nice play. We're going to go look and admire our Terran opponent for a second. Because I'm just like thinking I'm just going to crush this army right now. I'm like, yeah, really? You pushed right now? I'm going to kill you. And then this happens where he gets the tanks in just such a nice sweet spot. So, I mean, if I had the Overseer, I think I maybe could have thrown down the biles and taken this. But because I don't, I think I should actually just be pulling back. But I don't. I go for the trade. I can't bile. And look at this army's just moving all around doing nothing. And these tanks easily getting pulled back by the medevacs. And that was a really nice trade. And I'm sure these tanks are just loving it right now. Huge kill counts. So I've got to pull back here, rebuild Roaches. Ravagers with the weakened Roaches, common theme. Gotta be a little careful. Because I have a lot of reinforcements coming, I'm mostly just throwing down the biles here to disengage and just wait. I don't know if I'm really looking to trade right away with this army. Yeah, see, just kind of throwing the biles and pushing away. The counterattacking now? No, just getting vision. This is good troop movement, in my opinion. And this, haha! This is where we could love to take a fight. Look how exposed these tanks are and how small in general this army is. If this army fights this head on, it won't even be close. Yeah, this is what I want. Bio all these tanks and stuff. Look how fast the bio and stuff are dropping. That was excellent. And again, that's why I liked that this army moved up here to the Xel'Naga, got vision, and then to the left, as opposed to moving up to the left like this, and just having no real vision of this area, or really knowing where his army is. Now that I've killed a lot of that army and forced him back, I have momentum. I definitely want to push a base. Maybe the 3rd, maybe the natural. We'll see. Looks like the 3rd. And even right now, this Roach could be a Ravager, this Roach-Ravager, this Roach-Ravager. And god damn it, build the Evo chambers, please. We need them so bad. Okay, so once again, we're trying to get this sweet spot, this positional advantage, where we can just do uncontested damage to the expansion, and really these units can't push down. These vials should do great. We're getting in this spot again where the tanks are on the high ground and we don't have the Overseer or any kind of vision. So about now is probably the point we want to be avoiding this area because there's just too many tanks in position to do damage. So I think this army could be moving to the right a bit more and just sniping all this stuff. Yeah, see, they're moving to the right, getting out of range of these tanks. Ooh, beautiful biles. And this is, again, like, this is a point where I'm feeling like I'm pulling really ahead because, first of all, I'm forcing the lift off, which is good, but I'm guaranteed to be killing workers and maintaining a higher economy than my opponent. Higher harvester count, too. Yeah, so really here it's just important to be keeping up the injects, constantly producing roaches, and trying not to be looking away from this engagement for too long. Because, like, you don't want to have something like your roaches move up here and just get slaughtered because you're macroing back at home. So usually my priority in this stage is actually looking at the army, and I'll go back and, if I have to, like, double inject in the main, queue up the injects and just play catch-up mode if I have to. So here, again, like, I don't think we should be pushing up this ramp, and actually we're going to take some losses just moving down this area. But I think that's what we should be doing now, is just pulling back, taking the damage that we did, and being content with it. Yeah, maybe sticking around a bit too long here. Not much damage to be done. Ugh, I don't like this at all. Oh my goodness. That was a very costly mistake on my part. I guess I just wasn't expecting Terran to have so much stuff. After having delayed his base twice. So just a lot of units there was able to push me back, and probably, like I said, I could have pulled back a bit earlier. And again, getting my whole army cleaned up. This is the second time that I've successfully pushed him off this base and then successfully kind of messed up and lost my whole army. No, the Ravagers! You want Roaches tanking for those. The reason these fights are going so poorly is the upgrades, like 3-2 for Terran against 1-0 for Zerg, and this will spiral out of control if I don't get upgrades soon. And I think I clicked at this point and saw that he had +3 armor, and I was like, oh shit, okay, we really need to get these Evo chambers. And I was kicking myself for not having got them sooner. Tons of Ravagers, we need them, gotta be spending the gas on those. And we're actually stuck on the defensive now. This is going to be difficult. An uphill battle for sure with the upgrade deficit. And Terran's going to be able to secure this base. This base is already fully saturated, so this is actually kind of scary. Terran's starting to get to the economy they need to really make use, full constant use of all these structures, and maybe finally get that +3 attack. So I very badly need to maintain this 5th base. I don't think I can afford to lose it. So the place that I'll be trying to defend, of course, the bottom of this ramp. I'm not going to try to run up here. I'm not going to, like, bum rush this army. I'm just going to stay on this low ground and chuck the biles down in this area. Ooh! I love it. The micro wars, they're intense. Finally, thank you. For the second time this game. So here we're very badly in need of an overseer, first of all, to get vision of this type of stuff. Even creep would have been really nice. But the big thing is I want to avoid a big head-on engagement if I can. Like, I just want to be peppering it with biles. Yeah, like a big head-on engagement where he has all these 4 tanks attacking for an extended period of time is not really what I want. So I'll probably, like, push in a bit, throw down the biles, and then when I feel it's right, just kind of pull back and hopefully morph in some more Ravagers with weakened Roaches. So do we do that? Yeah, we're pushing, we're trading, we're throwing biles, and we should see the pullback. Pull back! Pull back! That was a bit late on the pullback, I would say, and I lost a bit for it. I was punished a bit for it. I think I was macroing. Probably a couple seconds earlier, I could have pulled back, got out of range of these tanks and units and stuff, and probably saved a couple Roaches, more from into Ravagers, etc. Supply, though, luckily we're still in a good spot. trying to delay this. I just want more reinforcements. And ideally these upgrades, but that's a bit optimistic. Hanging back, pushing a bit too close, taking too many tank hits, pulling back. Actually, with this army and these reinforcements, like, this is it. This is go time. This is enough stuff to break this finally. So that was kind of delaying tactics, using this ramp to delay him from pushing forward while I got those reinforcements that I needed to defend. And luckily was able to keep this base alive. Because that's going to come in handy pretty soon when this base mines out, right? About 8 of these guys should probably already be moved over to here. Gases could be taken here. But here we go, we're pushing out, we're going to get more Ravagers. I think we're going to push this base again and try to kill these workers again. Oh, almost got it with the bile. Upgrades maybe could wait. Nah, probably not. Peppering this area. I think are going to be able to kill 1 tank. Yep. And we're in this nice spot again. And this is actually really good. We got this narrow area where we can just kind of hold position here and not let him come down the ramp. Abusing this spot. And woohoo! Free workers for the 3rd time. Ah, but we messed up. We let him down the ramp, which was not what we wanted to do. So these roaches should have been up here so that he never gets down here. You just throw down all kinds of biles in this area. But we slipped on the biles, and that was a really nice split there, actually. But just so many friggin' corrosive biles that even with the excellent splits, it's really hard to dodge this many. And meanwhile, my whole army is just A-moving, just constantly doing damage. Though less than it should be. So will this army get cleaned up? No, actually, it doesn't look like it. But with nice medevac control, able to pull back. Snipe 1 unit there, but yeah, can't really pull up that ramp. And I don't think we're going to try. The tanks in nice position, and just moving up a ramp without the vision is really tough. Nice biles there. It's like, this is normally the point in the game where the Terran just rolls over and dies, but Pokebunny has done a really, really nice job of, first of all, getting this base at a good time over here, and just keeping up the production and keeping up a lot of units alive and not dying to the biles. See, like that, pulling the, taking a couple hits. And I say stop being so good, and I actually meant that because the medevac control and tank control was really good this game. And I had expected to win earlier. Pokebunny being humble. That was a really, really, really crucial snipe. We'll go back and look at it. I think I just had just enough Roaches and Ravagers and stuff to just come in and snipe it really quick. Yeah, even if the repair had been right away, I don't think it was enough. Just too many biles here. And this army, again, because he was over here in position to defend this ramp, the goal is to get over to this side quickly, and only now are these units being able to trickle over. So that was the real point where I was like, oh, okay, I think I might be in a good spot. Up until this point, I wasn't sure. I mean, we still have 2 command centers over here and so much production. This base was up, so I wasn't sure I was ahead until I killed that. And now I'm feeling like, okay, we're in a better spot. And +2 is finally done with the armor, so we can trade a little bit more efficiently. And I'm totally willing to do it. Totally willing to trade right now, even though like there's some tanks on the high ground and stuff. This is a very big army, and to be trading it across the map when they don't really have a 3rd base, or is it 3rd? Yeah, even a 3rd or 4th base is great, because this bank is really going to get whittled down to nothing very soon. So take those trades when you have the economic advantage. Just keeping it up with Roach-Ravager. A lot of players would transition, but I really think that just pure Roach-Ravager is strong right now. I don't think you need infestors. If you're the kind of player who wants to be using multiple casters, then I guess you could have infestors in one and just like get a couple of them to be fungling and then throwing down the bile. But things fall apart for me when I try to use double casters. I find the micro too hard. And this, like, there is some finesse and some, you know, positional things, but it's not the hardest thing in the world in terms of micro. It's not like you have to be really microing infestors and constantly fungling the perfect spots and pulling them back after and stuff. It's a little easier to use Bile. Oh, hitting myself with a couple of them. But yeah, this is you can tell just by the supply, probably going to be it. Even here, it's just kind of showing the power of the ramp, and just when you have your Roaches and Ravagers at the bottom of a ramp, there's nothing more frustrating, I don't think, for a Terran player than not being able to move down a ramp. It's almost like we have force field, in a weird way, except the force field kills you if you mess up. Ooh, nice. Reinforcement Roaches getting a lot of worker kills. And it's just too much Zerg at this point. And GG. So that's kind of the approach that I'm still using in ZvT. Very aggressive Roach-Ravager in the mid-game. And not really transitioning too much, as long as I can maintain that economy and not get like ripped apart by multi-drops. I feel like just building up the Roach-Ravager to max with as many Ravagers as you can actually trades well, even against heavily upgraded Terran. As we saw in this game, I was behind as far as upgrades all game long, and I was still able to take pretty good trades because of the positioning and also because of the Corrosive Biles. It's a spell that doesn't benefit from upgrades, really, when you think about it. Okay, guys, so thank you for tuning in. I hope you enjoyed it. If you have any questions, just let me know, and I'll see you next time. Have a great day. Bye.